Hello everyone. So today we are on page 476 and we are going to be talking about cross sections. So in order to begin, we must know what a cross section is. So a cross section is when you take a shape, let's say I have this rectangle here, and we split it either if you do a vertical or you do a horizontal, you some way split this in half. Let's say that we split it vertically, and then we open it up and we see what shape it is, and that would be our cross section. So if I have this box and I split it this way, and I am trying to figure out what cross section it is, I could open it up and I would say my cross section is a rectangle, and then I know what my dimensions are, or I can figure out my dimensions there. So that cross section is when I take an original shape and then I slice it some way or another and I open it up, and it's whatever I see on the insides there. A way to tell this is by looking at whatever base is on the sides or whatever faces you see. So if I cut it this way, I can look on this side and I can see that I have a rectangle over here. So if I were to cut it, I have that same rectangle here. So I looked at the face and I was able to see what it would be on the inside. If we look at example 1, it says, Rachel and Francesca went to a restaurant that serves rectangular bread rolls. Each sliced their roll in a different way. What do the cross sections look like? So first we have Rachel, and Rachel is going to be slicing hers in this direction. So I want to know, when I open my loaf of bread, what is my shape going to be and what are those dimensions? So you're going to look at whatever face I have here. We can also look down here, and I know that my base is 3 and then my height is 2. So if I'm trying to figure out what my cross section would be for Rachel, I'm looking at that face and I know that it is a 3 by 2. Now, what if we're looking at Francesca? Francesca is slicing it this way. So when she opens it up, her bread is like this, and she's opening it up like that. So I need to look at the face that I am drawing, and for this face, I'm going to look over here, and I see that my base of my face and my length of my face is 3 by 4. So my cross section would be 3 by 4. Then I can actually figure out what the area of that is, because I know the area of our rectangle is base times height. Is base times height, so it would be 3 times 2, which gives me 6 inches squared would be my area here. And then for this cross section, it's still base times height. So I would do 3 times 4, which gives me 12 inches squared. So based off of my cross sections, I was able to figure out and draw out what my shape would be there. Now let's look at our try it. It says Zachary made a vertical slice that was parallel to the left and right faces of the bread roll. What shape is the cross section and what are its dimensions? So he made a vertical slice. So we know vertical is up and down. I'm going to write vertical. And side to side is horizontal. So he made a vertical, or a up and down cut, and we're trying to figure out his cross section. I know that his cut is going this way, so I can look at my face right here and I can figure out my dimensions there. I see that my base is 4 and my height is 2. So my base was 4 and my height was 2. So the shape of the cross section is, well, my face was a rectangle, so I know my face has to be a rectangle. and the inches are 4 inches by 2 inches. And if we want to go one step further, the area is 4 times 2, or 8 inches squared. Okay, let's look at example 2. It says, Kenya made a sandcastle in the shape of a right rectangular pyramid. The thing about a rectangular pyramid is that the base gives me a rectangle, and then it goes up and makes a pyramid. Do not make fun of my pyramid drawing. It says, a right rectangular pyramid with a height, so my height here is 0.9 feet. It says, if Kenya sliced the castle horizontally, remember, horizontally is like a horizon. They're slicing it horizontally, so around this way. What would the cross section look like? So I need to look at whatever my base is. So if I think of a rectangular pyramid, I'm trying to figure out whatever my base is. This is not describing my base. That is my top. So I need to look down here. And then remember when I drew this out and I said a rectangular pyramid has a rectangular base. That is why it has the word rectangle in it. So I know that my shape of my cross section will be a rectangle. Then I need to figure out the dimensions of my rectangle. So my base here was 0.75. And then my other base, so 0.75 by 0.6, and these are both in feet. But my cross section, sliced horizontally, would be a rectangle. Then, looking at this, it says if Kenya sliced the castle vertically, remember vertically is up and down, through the top vertex, that is your vertex, perpendicular to its base, and intersecting the 0.75 foot edges, what would the cross section look like? So then I need to go over, and if I'm slicing it this way, I need to see what face is on my outside. On this outside, my face is a triangle, so I am going to have a triangle. And then my base of my triangle, I can look here or here. My base is 0.6 feet. And then my height, all the way to the top, is 0.9 feet. So it's looking for triangle, but I do know that my triangle is going to have a base of 0.6 and a height of 0.9. Now let's look at example 3. It says a truck needs a metal divider that separates the refrigerator parts of the truck from the dry goods. What should the divider look like, and how many square feet will the metal divider be? If it is asking what it would look like and how many square feet, talking about square feet means I'm finding my area of my truck. So I look at what it's giving me. My truck is 48 feet long. It is also in the shape of a rectangle. So I know I have a rectangle, and I know that my top of my truck is 8 feet, and the side of my truck is 10 feet, and the entire width of it is 48 feet. So it says, what should the divider look like? They want to put a divider that separates the refrigerated part. So this part, refrigerated zone, from my dry zone. So they want to put it here. Now you need to think, what does that look like? If I were to slice that truck, what would it look like? And you can look at the face on the other side to see. This is a rectangle. And with my rectangle, it tells me I have a height of 10 feet and a base of 8 feet. Then I just said there is a rectangle is what it will look like. And then how many square feet? I'm going to have to do 8 by 10. 8 times 10, which gives me 80 feet squared. Okay, now do your try it. It says, draw the cross section that is created when a vertical plane intersects the top vertex and the shorter edge of the base of the pyramid shown. So, I know it's a pyramid. It doesn't tell me what type of pyramid, but if I look at my base, it is in the form of a rectangle. So I know I have a rectangular pyramid. And it says that we are we're making a vertical plane intersecting with the pyramid shown below. So I'm going to be slicing from the top vertex vertically. Remember, vertically is up and down. So I'm slicing vertically. Okay, so if I'm slicing it vertically, I can see that my height is going to be my 4 inches. So I have 4 by my base is 7 inches. Remember, to find the area of a triangle, it's base times height divided by 2. So I take my base of 7 times 4, which gives me 28, and I divide by 2 to get 14 inches, and it is squared. Your homework is to finish and answer questions 4, 5, 6, 8, and 10. I will leave an answer key with the sub. Let me know if you guys have any questions, and have a great spring break.